Coming up, the Knights struggle after their heartbreaking loss to the Bulldogs, plus the Newcastle Falcons women secure a win in the NBL 1 East. Also, Australia secures a win in the Rugby World Sevens in Birmingham. That's coming up next on NBN's local sports news. Good evening, my name's Conklin McLeod with NBN's local sports news. Tonight, bad to worse for the Newcastle Knights as they suffer another loss. The Newcastle Falcons women's finals hopes alive after securing a victory. And Australia secures a victory over Fiji in the Rugby Sevens women's final up in Birmingham. But first, the end of the season can't come quickly enough for the Newcastle Knights after their tale of woe continued with a 24-10 loss to a revitalised Canterbury Bulldogs at McDonald Jones Stadium last night. On a day when former Knight Jacob Kiraz scored a hat-trick against the club that released him in the pre-season earlier, the majority of an nearly 20,000 strong crowd were left with a sense of some deja vu after Newcastle's 8th defeat in 10 home games this season. Unbeaten competition leaders after 2 rounds, the Knights have since lost 14 of their 17 ensuing games, plummeting to 14th on the points table, ahead of only the West Tigers 10 points and the Gold Coast Titans ahead, who are 8 points. If Newcastle loses to the West Tigers at Campbelltown on Sunday, they'll drop a further rung on the ladder, and Newcastle certainly do not want that. Newcastle needs to beat the Tigers this Sunday as part of a trip to Campbelltown in Sydney on Sunday, and also it's part of an away game. Still on the Knights, and coach Adam O'Brien insisted the absence of captain Callum Ponga was not to blame for their disappointing loss. The Knights are still yet to confirm when Ponga will return from the head knock he suffered last week, but if Sunday is anything to go by, they will struggle to produce points without him, even against fellow bottom 8 sides. But O'Brien said Newcastle had bigger problems to worry about, issues that will not be remedied had their fullback played against a rival club. To Hunter Rugby and University coach Sam Berry wishes that the Hunter Rugby Union had an extra 2 rounds. A resurgent students out-hustled and outplayed Nelson Bay 37-12 at Bernie Cohen Oval on Saturday. Coming at a cost, it was University of Newcastle who were up against Nelson Bay in round 14 of the Hunter Rugby Union competition. And of course, University had no choice of slowing down.
McKinnon again with another run. So they'll pick and drive here.
Because of that,
Inches off the bayside.
University had a good start. It was a great start. And of course, University scored one of the best tries. just to make it 12-5. Then kicked a goal to make it 14-5. Then a whole lot more in the second half led Nelson Bay to quickly run after them, but Alva University scored the match winner to quickly win the game 37-12. And of course, University of Newcastle secured the 37-12 victory. Yeah, what a huge one. And the other results of round 14 of the Hunter Rugby Union, Maitland have upsetted the Hamilton Hawks 41-15, while the Merewether Carlton have secured a victory over the Southern Beaches 47-14. And of course, the Wanderers had the bye. Still in the Rugby Union, and the Hunter Wildfires are no longer in control of their playoff hopes. Seemingly finals bound a fortnight ago, the Wildfires have slipped to ninth spot with one round remaining after they were outgunned 36-12 by East at Wallara Oval on Saturday. Meanwhile, the Hunter Wildfires women are facing a massive final round clash in the Jack Scott Cup after going down 15-10 to Eastern Suburbs at the number 2 sports ground on Saturday. To round 17 of Newcastle Rugby League, and Western Suburbs have secured a huge win over Lakes United. It was fantastic for Western Suburbs, who were too strong for their rivals right throughout the game. It was just marvellous for the Western Suburbs Rosellas, as Western Suburbs Newcastle were just too good for Lakes United right throughout the game.
As the announcer pointed out pre-game, Lakes Junior.
Indeed, yes, okay, so there'll be a bit of sting in it. Yeah, you're right. Lum. Corey Dennis, of course, the Lakes Junior as well, picked for the Knights, more or less straight out of Lakes under-19s back in the day. Now, here's Goodwin, getting low and then getting high. They've got him, and this is last. A strange sort of a set in the end. And it's left to Badiras to try and make something of it. Up they go, down they come. They'll be falling on there in the corner by A Church. Ref's got a decision here, and he's calling time off. He's going to have a word to the touchy, and if it's anything like his last conversation, it'll be dark before we've got a decision. Might have to put the floodlights on. He's awarding the try.
With the try awarded, it was just massive for West, who were too good for their rivals. The try had to be awarded.
It is another try for Wests. They've got their biggest lead of the day. Now it's away to Cooper. This game is.
But by the time in the second half, Lakes United had a comeback, but however that fight back was all too late.
And he's on the ground. It's Meehan who made the tackle. This is building. O'Mealy. Cromartie throwing himself around. Now Cooper, and they're building with Peck. Peck went to the line, didn't like what he saw, had to take the tackle. And
even though
we have a West player on the grass.
Even though it wasn't good for him.
He's going to need some attention. We'll have another stoppage.
Even though Lakes were awarded a penalty, Lakes United continued on in the game.
Well, they might have to. They may well have to at the moment. Although they do have the option of a concussion substitute. They've got Michael Hendry down there on the bench, who is 18th man. So if this is a head knock, they might be able to bring him on. But he's just starting to warm up in the cloak down there on the touchline. So it may be that he's needed. They've been in the wars today, Wests. They'll take their time over this. Nick O'Mealy's getting some attention as well. It's hard to believe we've still got 20 minutes to go, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
Also because of it, Lakes United were given the ball, but also they had to they had to score a try
Brewing. It's
after one
I
of
think we're gonna
West's
see a
players was
fantastic last
lifted
20.
off.
Off they go with Kelly and with Boss.
But by the
Boss will set
but by the
sail
time
for
Lakes
the line.
United scored,
And when he finally gets
it
to
was
his
just
feet
too
here, he will be
late
barely a metre away.
to secure
Potts
a win.
for Peck. Cut out ball's really nice. It's on here. If he picks it up, it's on. Far. Did well. Oh, he had
As
work
West
to do
won
there.
the game
Snapped it
20
off his
to
pen
18.
laces. Spun out of one. Spun out of two.
In the other games, the Maitland Pickers downed South Newcastle 34-4, while the Cessnock Goannas were too strong for the entrance Tigers. And of course, the match you saw just then was, of course, Western Suburbs Newcastle Rosellas defeating Lakes United 20 points to 18. Also, the Central Newcastle Butcher Boys secured a victory over the Curry Bulldogs 56-0, while the Macquarie Scorpions secured a 44-0 win over the Wyong Roos. To the Commonwealth Games up in Birmingham, and of course, Australia's women are the 2022 Rugby Sevens champions after defeating Fiji with a huge win. It was just spectacular for Australia, who of course won gold in the best matches of all time. Day one was a huge one for Australia's Rugby Sevens women. Madison Levi scored Australia's first goal. Madison Levi scored Australia's first try.
Very hard to defend against. There's one thing about Aussie, why they are so successful is because they are on point in every aspect of their game. So I can imagine
The scrum quickly came above.
South Africa not a coronation on the series, but they did play in Toulouse, some valuable experience, and there you go, turnover at scrum time. Here's Caslick.
By the time it came above, so did this.
We'll look to add to their total. It's Faith Nathan. And she will run around.
Then Faith Nathan scored a try.
Australia's second try. Pace to burn. The young woman from Sydney gets it done.
Really clinical stuff there from Australia, and basically that's exactly what South Africa were hoping to do, get the ball into the wide.
With Australia now leading 12-0.
Here she is,
It was just spectacular for the Aussies.
The wraparound back to Caslick, that was sweet. Dutoy has it again, can't get the ball out of Nathan, but it's fallen back into the hands of Charlotte.
Unlike the Rugby League, no drop-ons and no knock-ons as well.
She had the box of tricks out there, didn't she? Caslick on the board in the opener.
As Australia scored another try.
South Africa, they ate away at the space, so they forced that pass, which then.
Yeah, real superstar of the Sevens game, Charlotte Caslick. Hines, no problem from that kind of range for her. Start for the former AFL player. That was Aussie rules written all over it, wasn't it?
And of course, our women continue to score lots and lots of tries.
South Africa, 19-0 they trail. Still 1 minute and a bit of change to go in this first half. Here's Dutoy. Angled run, passed over the top to Levi. And she will stroll in for her second.
Levi scored a second try, and it was a huge one.
From Australia. But I want to take you back to this kickoff, because this is pinpoint. And look at this, we get a brilliant angle forward.
Yeah, she played for the Gold Coast Suns in the...
Knock on.
10. And that was the siren for half
Then a knock-on came above. And of course, Australia had the ball.
The Aussie women's sevens up and running, 26-0. They lead South Africa at halftime.
And they sure were. Then the lead of course, extended. Because of it, it was just marvellous. And of course, nothing can stop our girls. As Charlotte Caslick scored Australia's most recent try.
to start off the second half. That's her second.
Absolutely perfect start there in the second half. Always going to come from their leader, Charlotte Caslick. But here is what I was saying in regards to commitment to defence. Number 12 there, you see she just gets caught on the inside of Charlotte Caslick. When you're lining up outside someone, your defensive line. I think number 12 then, latter hand, possibly just got...
Bind. Set.
Because of that, Australia led 33-0 over South Africa.
Flows the ball ahead.
Even though they were tackled, Australia knew what to do. They knew they had to do nothing wrong.
Back indoors to Ashby. Over the top to Shani Williams in that distinctive scrum cap who's off the bench. And here's regular captain Demi Hayes. Good tackle on her.
Hayes, of course. Hayes was tackled on the inside line.
With the cover D.
Excellent cover tackle there.
But finally, Australia had the ball back in the last few minutes. And it was right in the second half.
That's 1-1 that contest.
And because of it,
Lovely quick hands and more big contact. On Lafau Fakosilea in midfield.
couple more tackles came above indeed. It was time for a penalty.
Strong defensive work and it's high five.
And time for goal indeed. Or it was try time for Australia, as Australia were unstoppable.
Nathan, she lays it back well. Series back in May. Chip through this time from Tegan Levi.
Then
She may well get there first. Sits up, but she just can't hold on. Getting back well was the South
Was it a
African
knock-on?
defence to deny
It certainly
the
was.
for a few seconds, so Australia want to go quickly here, but that's been really well.
But however, nothing can actually stop them,
Not Australia get the decision for holding
as
on.
Australia ran with the ball
And they're gonna
and
finish with
scored the
another
match
score
winner.
here. Maddie Ashby will finish it off for the Aussie Sevens women. A fine opening. Here they are, the form team in women's rugby sevens right now are the Australian women.
38-0.
We're looking for in their opener.
Then they played against Scotland a few days later.
Crossfield running into a bit of traffic is Faith Nathan. Here's Ashby again. Hines. Levi.
It was massive for Australia.
Another Madison Levi.
Levi scored Australia's first try as they led 5-0.
2 tries this morning. That's her third of the day. And Australia strike first.
It's the fact that she's got the pace.
And they
and the
certainly
power.
did.
And being such a tall athlete, she's got those longer limbs, so she can really implement a good fend off.
And she sure could.
Players away there. Helen Nelson, the second tackler coming in. She couldn't have done any more. She's gone low. She's gone for that chop. The length and the range of Levi's fend. Just scary to think she's so.
Then a successful goal conversion came up, 7-0. Then Soia Parkey scored Australia's second try.
Big overlap, and it'll be Saria Paki.
It was a debut for Soia.
Their youngest ever World Series debutant, still just 20 years of age. Gets her first try at the Commonwealth Games.
Australia are one of the best at punishing teams when they go down to 6. They've got those clinical skills. They're not selfish players. They work together as a team, and they will get that ball into space. They do it in the most efficient way possible.
And they certainly were.
The maximum amount of room for players to run into.
Running in the best way, they sure did.
To get the go forward, commit all those defenders. Breakout star for Queensland and Super W. She's been around the Aussie Sevens team all that long, but she's
Super W, not for
to
long.
create a lot. Here she is on defence as well.
It was rugby league.
And Scotland respond.
It was rugby
Two
league
maximum scores.
and rugby
2:30 to go in
union,
this
that is.
first half. Apologies, she's the yellow card coming back on the field.
Then
So the
Scotland
back
had a yellow card, as Australia had the ball.
Levi, cut out ball.
Then Levi had the ball.
It's gone for there.
There's Musgrove. She stayed down. It was a brave effort to stop
Time off.
Big Maddie Levi. She's just showing a bit of
Yeah, knock on.
concern on.
It was a knock on for Australia.
Okay, what are we doing?
Thankfully, Australia knew what to do.
Shani Williams
Shani Williams scored.
scores for Australia.
As Shani scored Australia's third try.
For the Aussie women than her, she comes off the bench and scores almost immediately.
And she is one of the world's best at picking that short line, and I just love the synergy between Charlotte Caslick and Shani Wills. They just connect, they read one another, they're such instinctive players. Two of the longest standing Australian players, and it just shows in moments
Because
like
of that, the goal was successful and Australia led 21-0.
Shani Williams, order of Australia, order of this tournament.
Now it was time to quickly score,
With Madison about, she's in again.
as Levi scored her second
bit of
try.
naivety there. Scotland were waiting for the referee to blow their whistle, but the ball had eventually gone 10, and when it
But
does
of
go,
course,
you can play it.
the ref eventually ran out of time.
So you just watch it here, it appears short. Now, if Madison Levi had played the ball when it was short, it would have been stoppage, turnover. You can't do that. What she cleverly does is she lets the
Because
ball
of that,
and because
Levi
Scotland don't touch it,
scored.
they back off, she can then play the ball because effectively it has gone 10.
All smiles for Shani Williams in Australia. They lead Scotland 20.
Australia were now leading 28-0. Now,
Maddie Ashby.
Australia were of course on the great verge of a good fight back,
As quick as anyone out there.
as Australia scored one of their best tries.
Wow, that's a rare treat to be able to see her in full flight. What a brilliant foot
As
race
Faith
between her and
Nathan
the Scottish
scored
winger.
Australia's first try in the second half.
Unselfish play there by Australia. A term we call feed in the speed. Get the ball to the winger. Let her do her thing.
Oh, what a wonderful thing it would be to have natural speed like that.
Yeah, it certainly will be.
Faith Nathan's mind when she got the ball there. That was try time.
33-0.
Blooming.
Then Australia had the ball after Scotland had dropped it.
She's on a hat trick. And I reckon she fancies it as well.
And of course, Levi ran with the ball
She's no slouch. But
and scored a
Madison-
hat-trick of tries.
Madison Levi
38-0.
has a hat trick for Australia.
It always gets me how comfortable she looks on the ball. She is being asked to do a full-fledged sprint from your 22. And at no point does she look that uncomfortable. She is gliding, she is comfortable, perfect technique.
Because of
It
it,
is
it was
sprint
just
there the whole
fantastic.
way. I mean, I'd be calling for a
It was
sub-hour if I
fantastic
did
for
that.
Levi,
But
who was
she's
just
gonna be
too
back
good.
set and wanting more.
5 tries in a day of rugby sevens. Not bad for Madison Levi. Shani Williams. Can't quite add the extra two, and yeah,
Even though
a well-deserved
it was
break.
unsuccessful, it
Dominic
became
Dutoit,
38-0.
the restart. Tom Dutoit.
Then
Here's Maddie
it was
Ashby.
time for Australia to have another turn at goal.
Little dummy,
And of
but
course,
Saria
a
back
try.
in and over the What a finish. Hang it in the Louvre. That was beautiful.
Then Salia Parkey scored Australia's best try.
To score that try would be rather confusing. But again, just so comfortable. One player dives in left. Okay, I'll give you an option on your right. Now I'm turning back inside. I'll give you an option here. Such a good squad effort when these guys play. And there's the dummy. She knows they've committed the
And it
defender.
certainly
Now
was.
it's time to go.
I reckon she might have made it if she just kept going the first
And because
time.
of it,
The extras in and away just to put the polish on. Beautiful stuff.
then a goal conversion had to
Jesse
come.
Southwell,
But not for long. Then
17 years of age. And this Australian 17 with the restart. Here comes Scotland. Short ball to Shani Williams. Just flings the would-be defender away. Intercepted well by Campbell, but just got themselves offside.
Williams ran.
Want to go
And of
quickly,
course,
43-0
Australia
lead, 90
ran with the
seconds
ball.
to go. Here's Pucky once more. She's running clear.
And also Parkey ran before the Hunters, Jesse Southwell, scored.
Shona Campbell has it now. Still on for Australia. Looking to hit 50.
Before Newcastle's Jesse Southwell
Couple of
scored.
meters out. Still going. And Jesse Southwell, her Aussie Sevens debut today, will get a try at the Commonwealth Games.
That is incredible strength for an athlete of her age. At 17, you don't know how to use all your muscles properly, but this girl certainly does. And again, another young talent in this Aussie side that is looking so impressive so early on into her career.
Oh, you can tell they appreciated that one. She signed for the Newcastle Knights Rugby League when she was 14.
With the goal conversion successful, it was huge, with Australia winning the match 50-0.
Athletes from other sports.
Then it was finals time in a semi-final, as Australia took on New Zealand. As Madison Levi scored for Australia.
Madison Levi, Rookie of the Year, top try scorer in this competition for Australia. But it all came
And
from
because
this
of
straight
it,
run by Shani Wills.
Levi
And
ran
then
with the
top
ball
one between
and
Joshua
scored.
Woodman and Shani Wills. A real wrestling battle. But it was because of that strong carry that Australia shortened the New Zealand defence. And it was an easy ball out wide for Madison Levi. Made the good bus, can't quite convert the work. Shani Williams.
Even though it wasn't a success, Australia still had the lead 5-0.
Getting Australia on the board. It's a really interesting contrast between these two teams and the transition they've gone through since that epic final on the Gold Coast. You've got 7.
Then New Zealand scored next.
Nathan Long, big wide ball for Woodman for the corner house. The ankle's fine.
5-all.
Well, it was frantic.
As they threatened to,
New Zealand certainly made the best of it.
as they threatened to steal the lead.
Titanic battle on the edge there between Shani Wills and Portia Woodman. And Portia just pulling away with her pace, giving herself that edge. Kelly Frazier here with the initial break. Tries to get that offload away, but the bounce just killed all the pace out of the ball. But still, they managed to keep it alive and ship it to the edge. Well, 1-all. Portia Woodman injured her ankle in the first match as she sends a message home. Missed the game after that, but seems to have come all right. I think a bit of adrenaline's helping as well.
It was a draw, 5-all. Then Fitzpatrick scored to put New Zealand in front.
Oh, that's a beautiful sevens, interlinking play, moving.
As Teresa Fitzpatrick put New Zealand in front.
Love it. Takes the pace off it, then puts the burner on. That little hitch kick on an angle really pulls the defense defender with her, creating that space on her inside here. Really lovely work there by Tyler Nathan-Rawn. She created that. Oh, it's rare you see Charlotte Caslick throw the head back like that. Wrong read in defence. And New Zealand
Now,
just before
New Zealand
half-time,
were
I think,
leading
going
12-5.
And New Zealand's defence
Thankfully,
of these two teams
good news for the Aussies,
going toe to toe. Fitzpatrick puts a shot on.
as
sticks
Australia
away, does
managed
Ashby,
to
though, and now here's Levi.
score
She might
back-to-back
hit too much
tries.
capability, does she? She's got the length and the stretch. And Maddie Levi closes
as
the
Madison
gap for
Levi
Australia.
scored a try for Australia.
Oh, that was energy-sapping stuff. Credit to Australia for their patience in that build-up.
Madison
Giving hold of that
Levi
possession.
scored
Look at
Australia's
this, Ben.
second try.
That is what makes her so lethal. Not only has she got that pace, but these long, rangy levers with power can fend off any player. Australia really had to work for that one. They stretched New Zealand all the way to the right. They tried to go direct. They went round the edge. Really good build-up for that one. That's to tie it from Shani Williams. It's across the face. A goal good attempt, but short as well. 2-point ball game. New Zealand 12, Australia 10, just up.
Then
Hayes looking to find some space up the middle, and now here's the ball on the wrap. It's well worked by Australia. The Levi sisters. Tegan for Maddie. Maddie for the corner.
Then
Flula chasing. Maddie Levi.
Madison Levi scored a hat-trick of tries for Australia, and it was 4 to win.
Just under 2 minutes to play. The Aussie build-up to that play. Credit to New Zealand. That was a gutsy defensive effort, but you felt like it was only a matter of time. If Australia get that much possession, they will just poke and prod at the defence, get half a gap here, half a gap there, and as soon as two players bite in and they can get a quick ruck, they're getting that ball out wide. Every attribute you could ever want in a sevens rugby player is all in that package of the 6-foot-tall Madison Levi. And the conversion is good too from Detroit. So now Australia 17, New Zealand 12.
It certainly was.
Less from a battle between these two teams.
Set. Space, nice and space.
Holding lane in and out for New Zealand. Brazier. Felix Hotham is going to get hit in a really good shot. Australia pile in and they've won it back, Australia.
But of course, it had to be time up.
New Zealand have got advantage back their way though. Knock on by Australia. We'll keep playing.
As Australia were through to the final
Australia
against
in
Fiji.
New Zealand's reign as the Commonwealth Games champions, and look at the joy. Heartbreak 4 years ago, and now they go through to the final. They will play for gold, Aussie gold perhaps. And they've done it the hard way, rugged, tough defence to break down New Zealand. In a quite compelling matchup. A long time coming to be back in this sort of level for Australia, and look what it means.
Then, in the grand final, Faith Nathan scored Australia's first try.
But the numbers are wide, and Faith Nathan gets the first try of the gold medal match. Great patience from Australia there. Fijiana did an epic defensive set. Defended round the ruck. So many times we see teams, they've too focused on the outside edge. You defend the threat, and that's exactly what Fijiana did. They stay focused on the ball. You see them compact there, but they just couldn't push out quick enough. The ball beat the player, and with the silky skills that Australia have, their passing is so quick, they can expose that.
Even though the conversion was unsuccessful, 5-0 was how it stayed.
Really tough
Then,
for Fiji to defend from here.
Faith Nathan managed to score another try, which was back-to-back tries.
Ashby, they go to Nathan, this time on the right. Nathan just to change of direction, and it's clinical from Australia at the moment. Very nice work there from Faith Nathan. She's using her peripheral awareness as much as she's got her eyes on the corner, and We know she's got the speed to get there. She can just see how hard Fijiana are over-chasing here. So if she times it perfectly with a little step against the grain, she's going to find some space there, look. Sold the edge and then cut back on the inside. Lovely, composed play. Faith Nathan has had a wonderful season for Australia. She's got pace to burn, only just turned 22. And an applause is given for the player who dished the ball, Nathan. Oh, Australia have it on a string at the moment.
Then Madison Ashby scored her first
You
try,
read that so perfectly.
and it was right up
Initially, we saw
in the grand final.
Madison Levi, those long, rangy limbs, just perfect for that fend off. But there's movement on the edge, but you can't see our picture there. Madison Ashby, she just hovers back. She lets the wing and the link do their moment. And she knows, she times it right, cuts against the grain. The defenders will not be looking at her. They're all focused on the wing and the link. Oh, she read that beautifully.
Nobody starts to kick before the hitter.
Conversion. In front of the sticks, a kiss. Why not? Is good too. 17-0.
The conversion became
start
successful,
again too.
with Australia leading 17-0.
Fiji, they're just getting hammered left, right and centre at the moment. Australia not missing a thing. Here is Donu. Cleared.
Now Australia led 17-0 at half-time.
Now the chase is Detroit.
In the second half, it was Australia's turn to quickly score.
But Australia get a penalty. It is all Australia still
And
at the
after
moment.
getting a penalty,
We started the second half as they played the first. That's
Australia's
a brilliant
women knew
ball.
exactly
Never
what to
stopping
do
Maddie Levi from
to
there.
score a try, and that was all thanks to Madison Levi.
Makes her imprint on the gold medal match. Oh, Madison Levi, World Series Rookie of the Year. It is so scary to think that she is so early on into her career, and she's going to be nurtured by these incredible women alongside her. She can have an amazing future. Initially a brilliant break from Detroit, but look at the follow-up play as well from Ashby. It's being able to keep hold of the ball. That's what's separating Fiji and Australia at the moment, is that second player to the breakdown, securing that ball, and then just a casual 20-meter pass from Charlotte Caslick, because that's just what she does.
Because of
You can
that,
just see the adjustments they've made from that heavy or that defeat and pull play to Fiji, and then the heart, the confidence they got to close out the semi-final in New Zealand against New Zealand, and now they
Australia
are rolling
led
in this final,
22-0.
22-0. That's going to go out on the full, so another mistake off the kickoff. A chance for Fiji. 5 minutes and 7 seconds.
Then Fiji scored.
As Anna Maria Naimasi, one of the veterans, gets Fiji on the score sheet, and their fans jumping in the stands. Well, we said they've got 5 minutes. They've just scored in 30 seconds. That is Fijiana when they get their flow, when they get a good bit of possession. And you got your veteran cutting up an Australian back line. How awesome is that? Lovely little slice between the wing and the link. Just back in her face, back in the bend.
Australia
Defenders are
led
trying to,
22-7.
Fiji on the board, 22-7. Caslick,
And of
Southall
course, Australia had the ball in the second half.
on the switch. Maddie Levi tries to power through a tackle.
But
Locked in
also,
over that, though. Good work
it was
defensively,
by
Fiji. You
3
can't fault their
seconds.
effort. They've been outplayed by this Australian side. Still time to go, though. Look at that.
But
Just
while there wasn't
muscle all
enough
the
time left on the clock, good news for Australia.
Fiji pressing for a
They,
hole,
of course,
playing on.
won the match.
It's all going to be to no avail, and make no mistake of it. Oh, Charlotte Caslick. Well, I said she's done everything in the game. Probably wasn't expecting to go to the sin bin for, what are we, 7.5 minutes into
And
the
of
second
course,
half of a final.
Australia had a player sent to the bin.
Take nothing away though from Fiji and where they have
But
come to be
thankfully,
playing
that
in this
didn't
match
stop our
to earn a
girls
silver medal.
from
They are
winning.
going home with a glittering prize to the islands as well. It may not feel like it at the moment, but they are on their way, this team for sure.
But thankfully, that didn't stop Australia from coming
Australia
home with a gold
playing
medal.
with 6 at the moment, but you wouldn't know it. She's falling. They've really looked after the game breakers in the Fiji side, the likes of Savuri, the likes of Olunisau, just haven't had the room. Here's Diravuti. Gets rid of one. Crowd still loving every big hit and every break for sure.
As Australia
they've done
and
all
Fiji were
weekend.
tackling each other.
We'll just keep going because this tournament has been so good.
Because of
These women
it,
have played so well.
there was still about a minute
It's
left.
playing the inevitable for Fiji. The offload of the hands. Sesame Ali Donu finishes beautifully for Fiji.
Even though it wasn't enough though. But thankfully, the good news, it was enough for Australia to secure a victory.
And they will give their thanks, but it is Australia's celebrations. It is Australia's gold medal. This young, talented team, led by a couple of senior pros, have swept all comers. And Australia are the 2022 Birmingham Commonwealth Games champions.
Still in the Commonwealth Games up in Birmingham. And the Hunters' Mariah Williams has helped the Hockey Roos secure a 8-0 win over Kenya. It was huge for the South striker. Her side were just too good for their rivals over the weekend.
The goalkeeper playing a bit of indoor hockey where they generally come off the line. Here we go.
Number 2 and the deflection, and how often do you practice those? Not speculative, this has been practiced time and time
Australia
again,
managed
and it's no accident that
to
Australia go
score
2-0
their
up.
second goal.
Australia playing the ball down the right-hand side and then just accelerating great acres of space there and arriving late, tipping the ball in.
Kenya are doing extremely well, reacting to what's been put on them. Are they going to go upstairs for this? No, they are going to accept that they've had another corner.
Then
Over to the right bracket
the
this
Hockey
time,
Roos scored
and
their
the
third
save,
goal.
and it's a stroke, stopping a sure goal, and there's a little bit of chat between the defence of Kenya and Katrina Turner, the umpire. They're just having an interpretational meeting, I think, there.
Here we go. Corner comes in. The ball's lifted. Good reaction to the play in. It's come off the body.
Oh, that's a fantastic stroke.
Then the Hockey Roos scored their third goal.
It is to Australia, and that's efficiency personified, isn't it? You can put it low to the goalkeeper's left, possibly the most difficult stroke for a goalkeeper to...
Yeah, some good disguise there by Caitlin Knox. She's come through and then just opened the wrists at the last moment.
Oh, look at this terrific
It soon
ball
transformed
wide onto
to
the right-hand side.
4-0.
Kingston has it for Australia up on the baseline, and it's a penalty corner under a minute left in the first 15.
There you go, classic example again. Just send it out to the right-hand side with there's space on the forehand.
Make some damage. Oh, great save too. Shot at goal again. Oh, 2 in a row. And scurrying across, and that is goal number 4. Just on the half-time, or the quarter-time buzzer. She did everything she could, didn't she? Quinta Akore, but you need some help. And it is awesome Aussies, absolutely. 4-0 Australia.
It certainly
Body
was.
language is easy to read, but in this case, poker faces all round.
Malone this time wants it and gets it, another penalty corner. Gets it this time. We're mucking around.
Now it was in the second quarter.
Here we go. Drove into the circle and then just
Because of it, Australia scored their fifth goal.
Kenyan defenders overrun it and hit it with their foot in the process.
3 steps and the ball is injected at the goal, and that is straight in. It looked as though it went almost under the goalkeeper's cricket. She was unsighted maybe.
Yeah, I think the goalkeeper's just offset, anticipating the ball to the right-hand side. The ball's gone past her on the left. She was late off her line.
It's all learning.
Yeah, very much so. They'll only but grow to have more nations playing this wonderful game of ours.
Chance now straight at goal. And straight into the leg, and the Australians, you get the feeling with 5 minutes left in the second quarter, they
certainly
are meaning
was.
business. Over to the right bracket this time at goal, and a deflection off the defender into the goal. And that is goal number 5. There's no going upstairs and denying this one.
Clear as day.
And of course it was correct.
Well converted
No
from
denying
corner.
the goal this time.
Great
With
eye,
Australia leading 5-0.
flexible, strong.
It was
wrists.
just
There was a
strong
chance
for
here
the
again for
Aussies,
Australia, and they've got
the
it in.
Hockeroos
Look
score,
at the time.
with
1
the
minute 20
Hockeroos scoring
into
their
the second
6th
half,
goal.
and Tonkin gets another for Australia.
6-0. Then,
Just missed the ball in the outlet.
Holison's dangerous.
Danger.
You okay?
And I think Tonkin might have got that in the face, but she has shown us in this game how tough she plays the game. It's going to
it was
squib.
time to score
And a little off
7-0.
And that goal now, and that's in. And this high fives, they're giving everybody the credit. Was there a little deflection in there as well?
There sure was on the far post. A variation penalty corner.
Let's have a look at the all.
This time the ball leaves the circle completely.
You good over
They're
there?
tucked behind the back.
Yeah.
Ball straight through for
Then,
deflection by Grace
finally, the score was 8-0.
Shot at goal, but this time it goes across and it gets a foot.
Over distance though. Over distance.
Going to squib on the left. And she gets something on it to stroke because the player on the post stopped a sure goal. This time, let's go to the right. Right low, efficient, fast,
And finally,
and accurate.
it was 8-0.
Listen to the crowd.
As Australia
Appreciating what
won,
Kenya had put in. They
8-0.
hold their feet. And that is fantastic. You would think they've won the
To real hockey, and of course a Seb Rollins hat-trick helped Souths reel in Gosford at Newcastle's International Hockey Centre on Sunday and edge closer to them on the competition ladder. Rawlings netted 3 field goals as the Lions twice came from behind for a 3-2 win against the Central Coast club, who claimed 4 straight major premierships between 2017 and 2020. Souths remain in 3rd spot on the men's Hunter Coast Premier Hockey League standings, but moved to 16 points, 1 shy of second place Gosford. Souths were down 1-0 and 2-1 before Rawlings equalised on both occasions. It was 2-2 at half-time. His third was scored during the third quarter. Meanwhile, Zane Drennan and Stuart Fletcher both converted penalty corners for the Magpies. Tom Brown made a successful return from a knee injury which had kept him sidelined for roughly 10 weeks. Next weekend, Souths meet rivals and leaders Norths, who breezed past University 6-0 at Newcastle on Sunday, but will be missing goalkeeper David Reid and Mitchell Bisson at the Australian Country Championships. Mayland went further ahead of West in 4th position after recording a 2-1 victory over the same opponents in Newcastle on Friday night. To ice hockey and doubles to import Daniel Burno, captain Liam Manwaring, and experienced campaigner Pat Nading have helped the Newcastle North Stars rebound with a comprehensive victory over the Sydney Ice Dogs. The North Stars scored 6 of the opening 7 goals by midway through the second period before posting an 8-4 result at the Hunter Ice Skating Stadium on Saturday night. Second place Newcastle now moves 7 behind the leaders Canberra Brave, who produced a clean sweep in last weekend's top-of-the-table doubleheader. The North Stars have 4 games remaining in the regular, facing the Sydney Bears away twice next week, as well as a Melbourne road trip to meet both the Ice and the Mustangs, while the Brave only have the Ice Dogs left on August 13. To local AFL and in the AFL Hunter Central Coast, Cardiff have moved into equal third and shored up their chances of making the Black Diamond Cup finals after defeating Maitland on Saturday. The Hawks 88 claimed a 47-point win over the Saints 41 at Max McMahon Oval and now sit on an equal 28 points with Newcastle City, 2 wins now clear of 5th place Warners Bay. Warners Bay had the bye at the weekend, and while they remain an outside chance for the finals, they would likely need to win all their remaining games and hope other results go their way. Facing Terrigal Avoca, Cardiff and City, and potentially Singleton, if that catch-up fixture gets played, it would appear an unlikely task. Meanwhile, City lost a tight encounter against Killarney Vale. While Terrigal Avoca had a victory against Singleton. To netball, and player coach Laura Glendenning was buoyed by Nova Thunder's performance despite losing to Newcastle Championship netball leaders South in round 13 at the National Park on Saturday, and has not given up on a top 2 finish. Souths retained top spot in the standings on 37 points with a 59-46 victory over the third place Thunder. They equal with University of Newcastle, who were 54-41 winners over Junction Stella, but ahead by percentage Nova are third. Souths led 15-10 at the first break on Saturday, then 26-25 at halftime. Meanwhile, Westleague's Balance beat B&C 66-37, and Innerglow won 60-51 over Katawa South. In the Hunters NPL men's competition, Broadmeadow and Near Lambton will both get the chance to move within 1 point of the leaders Charlestown on Wednesday after taking comprehensive wins over the weekend, while Charlestown Azuri lost to Newcastle Olympic. Carl Bradbury produced a hat-trick as the Jaffers thrashed Lake Macquarie 7-0 up at Macquarie Field, and the Magic downed Adamstown 4-0 right up at Adamstown Oval. Meanwhile, Valentine will chase their 5th win in a row after coming from behind to beat Cooks Hill 2-1 on Saturday, and also Edgeworth jumped ahead after they beat the Bears 2-1 on Sunday. in the Women's Premier League, and Warners Bay held off a second half fight back to end Newcastle Olympics' 7-game winning streak, and Broadmeadow came from behind to down Broadmeadow in round 17 over the weekend. The Panthers won 3-2 at Darling Street Oval on Sunday, and Riley Dobson produced a last-minute goal as Broadmeadow defeated Maitland by the same scoreline at Magic Park on Saturday. Meanwhile, Jess Chandler produced a hat-trick as Charlestown also came from behind to beat Adamstown 3-1 at Lyle Carr Oval on Sunday. The win moved Azuri to 29 points in third place. Meanwhile, Tash Rouge, Evie Bobolak and Kiri Lee Hughes scored as the Mid-Coast beat Northampton 3-1 at home in Taree on Saturday night, while Imogen May was the Eagles' lone scorer. The basketball and American import Nicole Munger outscored the Inner West Bulls all by herself in the then backed up with another inspirational performance against the North Bears to help the Newcastle Falcons win both legs of their NBL 1 East Conference road doubleheader in Sydney at the weekend. The Pennsylvania powerhouse poured in a season-high 53 points in Newcastle's 110-49 dismantling of the winless Bulls at Ryde on Saturday night, then followed up with a game-high 25 points as the Falcons edged Norths 77-71 at the Bear Cave on Sunday, and because of that, the Falcons are in 4th place, and that means that the Falcons' finals hopes are alive. It was massive for the Newcastle Falcons women in the NBL 1 East.
Tries to find Rod Ponder, but
they led 9 points to 2 right in the first half in their clash against the Inner West Bulls, who were winless.
Points for Nicole Munger. Ralph Munger.
And of course, the match occurred on Saturday.
Goes behind her back, and they'll reset.
Because of it, the first half was huge for Newcastle.
Munger pulls the trigger splash. Nicole Munger has 15 points in the first period.
More goals and more slam dunks came from above,
Another turnover is going to result in Nicole Munger.
as Newcastle managed to score more. A whole lot more, that is.
Playing against a lot of teams that have been together for many, many years. And it has
Newcastle led 48-12.
Goes up with another basket.
Then 57-12 came after that.
Yeomans off the window, good. First basket of the ball game for Jade Yeomans.
Then it was a huge one
Munger fires away, bang.
for the Falcons,
Here's Munger the other
as
way.
they led 67-21.
Straight to the rack, reverse layup is good.
Then after that,
Give her 34 on the night.
71-23.
Gabby Turnbull throws it up, draws the foul.
The
Count
hosts
the
threatened.
basket with
Meanwhile, the
sweeping
home
hook
side
shot.
threatened to
Gets
fight
that
back,
to go.
but our Newcastle were just too
With
strong.
37. Make it 40. 40 for Nicole Munger.
The Falcons were now on
Now she's gonna get
85-37,
45.
with Newcastle in 4th
Not
place.
even I can talk her out of that.
And because of that, it was spectacular, with Newcastle on 92 points to
Yeomans
37.
one-on-one with Kinga. Yeomans, nice spin move from Jade off the window and gets it to go. She's got 48.
Soon after that, it was
There it is, and the foul as
95-42.
So there's 50.
97-42
Just a
after that.
spectacular performance from her tonight.
Then more goals
Munger
came
with
from the
5
Falcons
on the
after
dribble
that.
drive and gets it to fall for 52 points and one to come.
As Newcastle led 101-44.
She's got 11. Now Evans fires for 3 in the corner and knocks it down.
As Newcastle won the match,
Sturton launches off the mark. Another offensive rebound
Boy, she works hard.
110 to 44. So too was this one, as Newcastle quickly made the trip to down the North Bears. Newcastle were on 11, the North Bears 12. The Falcons were now leading 14 to 12. Then 16-12.
Showing a ton of speed there. What a play.
18-12.
Scoop to the hoop, and then a full head of steam, just finishing that layup. Yeah, for sure.
Then suddenly Newcastle led 23 to 14. Then North scored as the score was 17.
In rhythm, good follow through. Committing those basketball crimes. Here we go, Riley Evans into the paint, dishing out to find the 1-2 punch. Carla Pittman.
The home side tried to do everything, but our Newcastle Falcons were just too good.
Yeah, last game showcasing a full repertoire. Hopefully this game also.
The Bears were leading, but thankfully the Falcons stole it.
That's classic. Wow. That is vintage Shika. Birthday present to watch NBL 1 East Women's game.
The Falcons won 36, while the Bears won 40.
Kingham. Wow. Swells it in. Kate Kingham.
Now Newcastle were leading. Now Newcastle won 41, while North won 42. Then Newcastle led 44 to 42.
Jump shot though, technically. Megan Johnson getting the board, going hard in the paint, turning on Forcadilla there and going in for the two. As she's done these last 5, 6, 7 games, not only a defender, not only
Newcastle led 49 to 46.
Found their tiptoes. Mungo got a 3 up on end, over end for Nicole Mungo.
52 to 46. Then 64 to 55 turned into 64 to 58.
What did I tell you? Only a matter of time till Riley Evans heats up. Much needed 3-pointer, stepping up in the clutch for defense and catch and shoot threes.
Newcastle led 68 to 61.
Bang, bang. Rise and gun, let it fling Riley Evans. Yes. Player Emily Foy. Kingham gets a screen from
Newcastle
Johnson.
had the lead 77 to 66.
Off the backboard. Yeah, twinkles it like James Millan loves to say. Can they get a quick 3 here, the Bears? That's what they're going to need to make any chance of getting this game out.
And of course, Newcastle won the match.
2 threes is possible, James. She's had a great game, Jess Bygate.
With an incredible 77 to 71 win, keeping their finals hopes alive.
77 to 71.
To round 15 of the Ladies League tag of Newcastle and Hunter Rugby League, and Raymond Terrace has secured a win over the Tea Gardens, while Dudley and Cardiff shared the points. West Wallsend defeated Shortland, and the Wobbical secured a win over Morpeth. In round 13 of the Hunter Valley's Group 21 Rugby League, Muswellbrook has secured a win over Denman, 24 to 22. While Greta Brankston has taken down Singleton 48 to 6. Also, Scone has taken down Aberdeen 46 to 6. After the break, we'll have more of your local sport from Northern New South Wales next.
I'm going to buy that.
Into big business now, are we?
Nope. I'm quite happy with the small business I own, Louise. Who are you banking with now, Bob? Newcastle Permanent.
No, I know. I mean, your company banking.
Yeah, we're with the firm.
Didn't know they did business banking.
Well, they have done for quite some time now, Dad.
Oh, good move. That's mine. Thank you.
Your business is in good hands with Newcastle Permanent.
They're our building society.
Wake up in the morning, gotta get... Because the Herald is the best way to start your day.
return to the NBL 1 East, and the Central Coast Crusaders secured a huge win over the Bankstown Bruins over the weekend. It was huge for the Central Coast, who were just too strong for their rivals right throughout the game. It's not your average thing that you see every day. It's basketball at its very best in the NBL 1 East. Also, the Central Coast Crusaders led 31-23.
3 points, his first 3 of the match.
Then 34-32.
Taking on Jenkins all the way. A little bit of a windmill way up there. The billiard.
Then the Crusaders had to score.
He came out early.
They led by a point.
Look at that. We'll take 3 and a foul. Thanks very much. Potential 4-point play for Dragon Elkaz.
The Crusaders had to quickly fight back.
Bates again for 3. Knocks it down again. Bates.
The Crusaders were on 44 points and had to score a slam dunk.
Easy 2.
The Crusaders were leading 57-53.
Oh, nearly tipped in there by Jenkins. Pulled down the rebound, put it back in. We shall see what happens.
Now, the Central Coast were leading 63-60.
Jenkins with the rebound. Jenkins helping himself to another
Then
2.
later,
That pushes him up to 30. Ollie Hedges face.
70-61.
Anderson on the break.
The home side threatened to score and secure the win.
And throwing the ball away. Anderson in his favourite 3-point spot.
But it was not for long before the Crusaders fought back
and another missed free throw, so Crusaders
and secured a win.
Jenkins taking on Masters. Oh, and he scores. Wow. Redhead. 5, 4. Oh, wow. Jenkins. Elkaz all the way. In she goes. This crowd trying to get excited.
As the Crusaders won the match 98-92. They won it just on the buzzer.
And that is the game.
In round 15 of the Central Coast Rugby Union and the Terrigal Trojans have defeated Carry On with a 20-19 win. Meanwhile, Warnervale has defeated Hornsby 42-31, while the Lakes defeated Gosford 24-23. To round 14 of the Group 2 Rugby League, and the Grafton Ghosts have secured a win over the Maxville Seagulls, while the Aurora Valley Axemen secured a win over the Coffs Harbour Comets. Meanwhile, South Grafton have secured a win over the Nambucca Heads Roosters, and the Wagorga Seahorses defeated Sawtell. In round 11 of Group 3 Rugby League, and the Foster Tuncurry Hawks and the Port City Breakers shared the points 18 all over the weekend, while the Old Bar Pirates and the Macleay Valley Mustangs played a game, and of course Old Bar won 28-14, while Taree City secured a 30-24 win over the Warhope Blues, and the Wingham Tigers beated the Port Macquarie Sharks 31-16. In Group 4 Rugby League, North Tamworth have secured a win over Dungawin 20-12, while Katingal Moonbai beat Werris Creek 44-42. while Narrabri secured a win over Manila 62-16, and the Moree Boars have beaten Gunnedah 58-12. In round 13 of the Group 19 Rugby League, and Tenga has taken down Armidale with a 32-28 victory, while Narwin has secured a win over Inverell, and Moree has secured a win over Uralla Walker. While in the ladies' league tag, Tenga has secured a win over Armidale, while Inverell defeated Narwin, and Walker Uralla defeated Moree. To Central North Rugby Union, and Gunnedah secured a win over Inverell, while Narrabri defeated Tamworth. In the other games, Corindai has defeated Scone with a 27-18 victory. In round 10 of the Northern Inland Premier League, and of course, Oxley Vale secured a 6-1 win over Souths, while Moore Creek secured a 4-0 win over Tamworth. Also, Katingal District secured a win over the Hillview Rovers. To round 4 of the NRRL, and Evans Head have secured a win over Lower Clarets, while Murwillumbah secured a victory over Mullumbimby, and Byron Bay have secured a victory over Northern United, and Billambil has defeated Cudgeon by 2 points. Also, Ballina has secured a victory over the Maris brothers, while Tweed Coast and Kyogle had the bye. In the Mid-North Coast Rugby Union, Grafton secured a win over the Coffs Harbour Snappers, which occurred right on Saturday. To Far North Coast Rugby Union, and Wollumbar Alstonville was defeated Byron Bay 41-39, while Ballina has defeated Lismore 44-15. Also, Bangalore has defeated Casuarina Beach 38-5. And of course, it's getting really close to the finals. There was only one match of the AFL Northwest men's competition, and of course, Inverell took on Tamworth, and of course, the Inverell Saints defeated the Tamworth Kangaroos, and of course, the rest of that weekend's matches is now moved to this weekend. To round 15 of AFL North Coast, and Grafton has secured a win over Sawtell 74-37, while the match between Coffs Breakers and the Northern Beaches Blues was faded away. There was only one game in the under-17s boys in the North Coast football competition, and the Northern Storm Troopers have secured a win over the Sawtell Scorpions with a 2-1 win. While it was much better for the girls, as Coff City defeated Wagulga 8-0, while Bellingen defeated Coffs Harbour with a huge 3-1 victory. And that's about it for now. And don't forget, from all of us here, good night.